Have you ever noticed how people can lose their entire peace in seconds? One wrong word, one unfair comment, one unexpected betrayal, and suddenly their whole world collapses emotionally. But listen to me, your power is not in how you react. It's in how you remain calm when everything around you is designed to provoke you. Because life will test you. People will test you. Circumstances will test you. And when that moment comes, it's not your reaction that defines you. It's your restraint. The one who can stay calm when tested becomes unstoppable. When you truly understand who you are, you no longer feel the need to prove anything to anyone. Most people live reacting to everything that's said or done to them. Someone talks about them. They react. Someone disrespects them. They explode. Someone questions them. They argue. But real strength is not found in reaction. It's found in restraint. Peace is not passive. It's powerful. It's the invisible force that separates the weak from the wise. Think about this for a moment. When a storm comes, trees bend and sway, but the mountain stands still. It doesn't move because its strength is internal. That's what peace does for you. It anchors you when life starts shaking. Most people think they're strong because they can fight back, shout louder, or defend themselves. But that's not power. That's proof that someone else still controls your emotions. The moment someone can disturb your peace, they own your attention. A powerful person doesn't get angry every time something goes wrong. A powerful person doesn't waste time explaining themselves to everyone who misunderstands them. A powerful person doesn't let gossip break their focus. You can't build an empire if every insult gets a reaction from you. Real power is being so grounded that you can look chaos in the eye and still smile. Have you noticed how the loudest person in the room usually has the least control? When someone raises their voice, they're losing command over themselves. But the calm one, the quiet one, the one who looks at the problem and stays composed, that's the one in control. That's the one everyone ends up following. The calmest person in the room always holds the highest authority, not because of what they say, but because of what they don't allow to move them. There will be times when people will push every button you have. They will lie about you, mock you, betray you, test your patience, and hope to see you lose control. But the moment you react, you've given them what they came for, your peace. They didn't win because they were right. They won because they made you forget who you are. You see, reacting means you've left your position. But when you stay calm, you stay powerful. Your silence becomes your statement. Your peace becomes your proof that you are built different. Imagine walking through a busy street, cars honking, people shouting, the noise all around you, and yet, inside, you are still. You hear it, but you're not moved by it. That's what peace does. It protects your energy in a world that's constantly trying to drain it. The goal is not to live without noise. The goal is to live unmoved in the middle of it. Think about an eagle. While the storm forces other birds to hide, the eagle flies above it. It doesn't fight the storm, it uses the wind to rise higher. That's peace. That's wisdom. When life throws you storms, stop fighting the wind. Let it lift you. When people throw words, don't catch them. Let them pass. When the situation gets tense, don't mirror it, master it. Because if the storm can't reach your mind, it can't destroy your life. Peace doesn't mean you're ignoring reality. It means you're choosing your response. You've decided that your inner world will not be dictated by the noise of the outer world. That's what separates average people from leaders. Everyone faces problems, but not everyone faces them with composure. Everyone gets criticized, but not everyone answers with wisdom. Everyone experiences betrayal, but not everyone allows it to steal their peace. The difference isn't what happens to you, it's what you allow to happen inside you. In everyday life, you'll see this everywhere. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You can yell, or you can breathe and move on. A coworker talks behind your back. You can confront them in anger, or you can let your success silence their gossip. Someone tries to embarrass you in public. You can argue, or you can smile and let time reveal the truth. Peace is not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about refusing to let the hurt dictate your behavior. You've probably met people who have everything: money, fame, influence, but no peace. They live reacting to rumors, chasing approval, losing sleep over what others think. Then you meet someone with little but peace, and suddenly they seem richer. That's because peace is the highest form of wealth. When you have peace, you have clarity, confidence, and control. No one can manipulate you with drama when you've mastered your calm. Every time you choose not to react, you're building inner muscle. You're proving that your emotions work for you, not against you. You're saying, I choose to respond from wisdom, not weakness. You're learning that not every battle is worth fighting, not every insult deserves attention, and not every noise requires an answer. Because sometimes silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. The next time life provokes you, pause. Don't rush to speak. Don't rush to explain. Just breathe. Because that pause is your power. That pause is where peace lives. That pause is the difference between who you used to be and who you're becoming. Anyone can react. It takes vision to remain still. And when you master that stillness, you'll discover that the less you react, the more powerful you become. Every time you react emotionally, you hand over the keys of your peace to someone else. You might not realize it, but the moment you let another person's behavior dictate your emotions, you've become their puppet. They pull the string and you dance. They say one word and you lose your balance. That's not living. That's emotional slavery. And most people are trapped in it every single day without knowing. Think about how easily people can ruin a good day. You wake up feeling good, you're smiling, you're productive, and then one person says something disrespectful, and suddenly your mood is gone. One text message changes your peace. One argument ruins your entire morning. You spend hours replaying the moment in your head, while the person who triggered you has already moved on. That's the danger of reacting. You stay trapped in a prison someone else built. When you react, you give people free access to your emotions. You're saying, "Here, you can control how I feel." And the truth is, some people live for that. They feed off your reactions because your anger entertains them, your pain empowers them, your frustration proves they still have influence over you. The moment you stop reacting, you cut off their power supply. You take back your emotional independence. You become the master of your own atmosphere. You have to understand, not everyone deserves a response. Some people are baiting you to lose focus. They want to see you out of character. They want to see you angry, because when you're angry, you lose logic. When you're emotional, you stop thinking clearly. That's how manipulators win. They don't need to defeat you. They just need to distract you. The battle isn't always external. It's internal. If they can get your emotions, they've already won. Picture this: you're driving and someone cuts you off. You honk, you yell, your blood pressure spikes. But notice something: the person who cut you off is gone. You're still angry, still talking to yourself, still tense, but they've moved on. Who lost in that moment? Not them, you. They took 2 seconds of your peace and you turned it into 2 hours of frustration. That's what reacting does. It stretches small moments into long-lasting chaos. There will always be people who test you. Someone at work might disrespect you. A friend might betray you. A family member might speak to you harshly. But the question is not what they did. It's what you allow it to do to you. When you stop reacting, you start protecting your energy. You start saying, "You don't get to control my mood today, because peace is too expensive to trade for petty drama." You have to train your emotions the same way an athlete trains their body. Every time you resist the urge to react, you're strengthening your emotional muscle. Every time you stay calm in chaos, you're proving to yourself that you've outgrown the need for validation, revenge, or approval. You begin to realize that the people who provoke you don't deserve your power. They deserve your silence. One of the greatest signs of maturity is when you can listen to nonsense and not lose your peace. It takes strength to walk away from a fight you could win. It takes wisdom to stay silent when you could easily prove a point. It takes discipline to remain calm when everything in you wants to react. But that's what makes you powerful, your ability to choose peace over reaction. In everyday life, you see emotional slavery everywhere. A boss gives one harsh comment, and someone carries that energy all day. A social media post triggers an argument online that lasts for days. Someone gets criticized and immediately lashes out to defend themselves. But when you operate like that, you're not leading your emotions, they're leading you. The strongest people are not those who fight every battle, but those who know which battles are not worth their peace. You have to remind yourself daily, I can't control what others do, but I can control how I respond. That's your power. You can't stop people from talking. You can't stop them from lying or betraying you, but you can stop them from living rent-free in your mind. You can stop them from dictating how you feel, how you think, and how you show up. Reaction is emotional bondage. Restraint is emotional freedom. You may not be able to change what happens around you, but you can change what happens within you. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Because every reaction costs you something: energy, focus, clarity, dignity. And some things are too expensive to waste on nonsense. Sometimes the best response is no response, because silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. The more you grow, the more you'll notice how quiet real power is. Loud people seek attention, peaceful people own it. The moment you stop reacting, you confuse people. They can't read you anymore. They don't know if they've hurt you or missed you or made you angry. And that's the beauty of it. You've become unpredictable. You've taken control. You're no longer emotionally available for manipulation. Life will keep testing your emotions until you master them. The situations won't change, but you will. You'll reach a point where what used to upset you no longer touches you. You'll stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You'll stop arguing with those who only listen to reply, not to understand. And you'll realize that protecting your peace is more important than proving your point. That's when you start living free. Free from overthinking, free from gossip, free from needing to react to everything that doesn't deserve your energy. You'll start walking into rooms that used to intimidate you and feel nothing but calm. You'll hear lies about you and feel no urge to defend yourself. You'll encounter negativity and respond with silence. That's the moment you'll know you've taken your power back. Not by controlling others, but by controlling yourself. Every time life tests you, it's not coming to destroy you, it's coming to develop you. You have to understand that pressure doesn't come to punish you, it comes to prepare you. Every challenge, every disappointment, every delay is secretly shaping your character for the next level. You're not going through this for nothing. There's a lesson behind every letdown, there's growth behind every grief, and there's a greater version of you being built behind every test you're facing. When life starts tightening around you, when everything begins to feel heavy, that's not a sign that you're losing. It's a sign that you're being stretched. Diamonds are not made in comfort. They're formed under heat and pressure. And in the same way, your test is not a sign that God has forgotten you. It's proof that you're being qualified for something bigger. The storm you're in right now is training you for leadership. It's shaping your patience, your wisdom, your resilience, and your peace. Think about it. How can you lead others if you can't stay calm under pressure? How can you handle success if you break every time something goes wrong? Every great person you've ever admired had to pass through seasons of testing. Life had to see if they could be trusted with influence. You cannot handle the weight of greatness with the mindset of comfort. So, when you're being tested, it's not rejection, it's preparation. Look at the people who rise in life. They didn't get there because it was easy. They got there because they passed their tests. They kept showing up when no one clapped. They kept believing when everything said it was over. They held their peace when people lied about them. That's how life promotes you, through quiet endurance. You don't get promoted for talking about your pain. You get promoted for mastering it. You might be in a season right now where everything feels uncertain. You've done your best, but things still aren't moving. People you trusted turned their backs. Doors that looked open suddenly closed. You're wondering, why me? But maybe the question is not why me. Maybe it's, what is this teaching me? Because every test carries a lesson. And until you learn it, the promotion doesn't come. The delay isn't punishment. It's a classroom. The universe will test your patience before it rewards your purpose. It will test your loyalty, your integrity, your consistency. You'll be given opportunities to quit, moments where walking away seems easier. But every time you choose to stay faithful, every time you choose peace instead of panic, you're proving that you're ready for more. You're telling life, I can handle the weight. When people mistreat you, that's a test of forgiveness. When things take longer than expected, that's a test of patience. When opportunities seem out of reach, that's a test of faith. And when your name is being dragged through the mud, that's a test of character. The test isn't about what's happening to you. It's about what's happening inside you. Life is asking, can you stay peaceful and steady when the ground under you is shaking? I remember someone saying, pressure doesn't change you, it reveals you. When life turns up the heat, whatever's inside you comes out. If bitterness is inside, bitterness will show. If wisdom is inside, wisdom will shine. And if peace is inside, peace will rule the moment. That's why you can't rush through your tests. You need them to show you who you really are. Because once you know yourself, no test can defeat you again. Think about the butterfly. Before it can fly, it must fight its way out of the cocoon. That struggle isn't a mistake. It's the process that gives its wings strength. If someone cuts the cocoon open to help it, the butterfly never learns to fly. The same goes for you. If every obstacle was removed, you'd never develop the strength to stand. Life allows the struggle because the struggle is your strength trainer. You might be wondering, why am I still here? Why is this taking so long? But maybe the delay is not denial. Maybe you're still being refined. Maybe you're still being trained. Maybe life is saying, I'm not punishing you, I'm preparing you. Because when the opportunity comes, you won't have time to prepare, you'll only have time to perform. So the test is building you for the performance that's ahead. Every setback is teaching you stability. Every betrayal is teaching you boundaries. Every loss is teaching you value. Every delay is teaching you patience. Life is not working against you, it's working for you. But it won't promote you until you've learned to stay calm when things fall apart. Because if you can't handle pressure at the bottom, you'll collapse under the weight at the top, in your workplace, in your relationships, in your goals. You will always face moments that feel unfair, but that's part of your elevation. When people misunderstand you and you choose not to retaliate, that's growth. When you're overlooked but you keep serving with excellence, that's maturity. When you're tired but you still show up, that's power. And when you stay peaceful while being tested, that's mastery. Your reaction to your test determines your readiness for your next season. If you complain, you repeat the cycle. But if you learn, you graduate. So instead of asking for the test to end, start asking for the strength to pass it. Life doesn't hand out rewards for reacting. It rewards restraint, discipline, and endurance. You've got to start looking at your pain differently. Don't see it as punishment, see it as preparation. The rejection you faced was teaching you independence. The pressure you felt was teaching you patience. The silence you endured was teaching you faith. Every test you faced was a part of your training program for promotion. The only reason the heat is so high is because you're being refined for something bigger. When gold is put in fire, it doesn't burn, it shines. The impurities melt away, and what's left is pure value. That's what's happening to you. Every test you're facing is burning away fear, doubt, pride, and impatience, so that when your moment of elevation arrives, You'll be pure gold, strong, steady, and unshakable. Because promotion doesn't come from comfort, it comes from pressure. The higher you go, the heavier the responsibility becomes. So life has to make sure your foundation can carry it. Every painful moment, every betrayal, every delay, it's all part of the construction of your strength. When you are peaceful, your mind becomes a weapon of precision. You begin to see what others overlook because your thoughts are not clouded by anger, fear, or panic. You notice how people move. You sense what's real and what's fake. You read between the lines. Peace gives you foresight, and foresight is what separates the wise from the impulsive. When you are calm, you make choices that build your future. When you are chaotic, you make choices that destroy it. You've probably experienced moments when frustration made you say or do something you later regretted. Maybe you quit something too early, walked away from someone too soon, or reacted before thinking. That's what emotional noise does. It blurs your judgment. You can't hear direction when your mind is loud. That's why peace is not just a feeling, it's a frequency of wisdom. When your mind is still, you start seeing the bigger picture. You realize that not everything deserves your attention, not every situation needs your energy, and not every opinion is worth your response. Have you ever driven through fog? You can't see clearly, so you slow down, you become cautious, and you strain your eyes trying to make sense of what's ahead. That's what emotional chaos feels like. Your thoughts are foggy, your direction is unclear, and every small obstacle feels like a wall. But when the fog lifts, suddenly the road was there all along. Peace is that clarity. It removes the fog of emotion so you can see the path that was always in front of you. When you operate from peace, you make fewer mistakes. You don't rush into arguments, you assess them. You don't jump at opportunities, you evaluate them. You don't panic in crises, you plan your way through them. People often say, follow your heart, but your heart can mislead you when it's overwhelmed. Follow your peace, because peace never lies. When something feels forced, chaotic, or confusing, it's usually not right. But when something aligns with your peace, even if it's difficult, it will still feel purposeful. Think about your own life. There were times you reacted quickly because of anger, and later you wished you had waited. You sent that text message, made that phone call, walked out of that meeting, only to realize later that your emotions wrote the script, not your wisdom. That's the cost of losing peace. Anger makes you short-sighted. Peace makes you visionary. The person who can stay calm while everyone else is panicking will always find the best solution. In a workplace, when a crisis hits, people often lose control. Some blame, some complain, some panic. But the person who stays calm enough to think becomes the one everyone turns to. Because peace is authority. It's not about titles, it's about temperament. People follow calm leaders because calmness inspires trust. When you radiate peace, others feel safe around you. They believe you can handle the storm because you're not moved by the waves. There's a saying that still water runs deep. The calmness you carry reflects the depth of your wisdom. When your mind is peaceful, you don't react to temporary emotions. You respond from timeless principles. You begin to ask, what's the lesson here? What's the truth behind this chaos? Instead of fighting against what's happening, you flow with understanding. You start to see that sometimes delays protect you, that silence teaches you, and that not every closed door is rejection, it's redirection. Peace gives you the ability to see the invisible. When you're calm, you start to notice patterns. You recognize cycles in people's behavior, in your own habits, in the way life moves. You begin to understand timing. You learn when to speak and when to stay silent, when to move and when to wait. That's what foresight really is, the ability to see what's coming because you're not blinded by what's happening. Imagine you're in a chess game. The emotional player moves pieces out of fear or excitement. The peaceful player observes, plans, and waits for the perfect moment to strike. The difference is not intelligence, it's composure. Life works the same way. If you can keep your peace, you'll always stay 3 steps ahead. Because when everyone else is reacting, you're strategizing. While others are shouting, you're listening. While they're angry, you're thinking. And the thinker always outlasts the reactor. Peace is also a healer of perception. It allows you to interpret things correctly. When you're hurt, you see betrayal where there might be misunderstanding. When you're afraid, you see danger where there might be opportunity. But when you're peaceful, you see things as they are, not as your emotions distort them to be. You stop personalizing everything. You stop assuming everyone is against you. You start recognizing that some things were never meant to harm you. They were meant to teach you. In relationships, peace gives you the grace to listen instead of defend. It helps you understand before reacting. How many arguments would disappear if we stopped reacting from emotion and started responding from peace? Most conflicts are not about the issue. They're about the tone, the timing, and the tension. But when you bring peace into a situation, you disarm conflict before it even begins. Your presence becomes a solution instead of another source of noise. When you live in peace, you no longer chase every opportunity that knocks. You learn to discern which doors lead to destiny and which lead to distraction. You stop running after things that disturb your calm. You start saying no to what drains you, even if it looks appealing, because peace makes you selective. You realize that anything that costs you your peace is too expensive. And in that stillness, ideas begin to flow. Creativity is born in calm minds. Wisdom whispers only in quiet hearts. The answers you've been searching for don't come when you're anxious. They come when you're still enough to hear them. That's why peace is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, you can't think clearly, love purely, or lead wisely. The calm mind sees further than the restless one. The peaceful heart makes decisions that the fearful one cannot even imagine. When you carry peace within you, no situation can control you. The world can be loud, but your spirit stays quiet. People can misunderstand you, but you remain centered. Chaos can surround you, but clarity will guide you. Because peace doesn't remove problems. It reveals how to handle them. Peace doesn't make life easier. It makes you wiser. And the wiser you become, the less you react, the more you discern, and the clearer your path becomes. There comes a point in your life when you realize that peace is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's not that you can't respond, it's that you choose not to. Because you've outgrown the need to prove anything to anyone. You start to see that maturity is not about age, it's about emotional control. Anyone can shout, argue, or fight back, but it takes real strength to stay calm when everything in you wants to react. That's what true power looks like, the ability to stay grounded when others are losing their balance. You know you're maturing when silence feels better than arguing, when walking away feels more powerful than proving your point, when you understand that peace is the highest response to chaos. People might misjudge you. They might call you cold, detached, or uninterested. But what they don't understand is that you're protecting your energy. You've reached a place where peace matters more than popularity. You'd rather be misunderstood than lose your peace trying to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. In everyday life, people will constantly test your maturity. Someone will insult you in public just to see if you'll lose your composure. Someone at work will take credit for your effort just to provoke you. Someone close to you will twist your words to make you look bad. But maturity is when you can face all of that and still smile. Not because it didn't hurt, but because you've learned that not every action deserves your reaction. You've learned that responding to foolishness lowers you to its level. And sometimes walking away is not surrender. It's strategy. When you operate from peace, you stop fighting battles that don't matter. You stop trying to convince people who don't want to understand you. You stop wasting your time arguing with people whose goal is not truth but chaos. You begin to say to yourself, I have nothing to prove, I have everything to protect. My peace, my focus, my time, my energy. That's when you become dangerous in the best way. Because now no one can manipulate you with their words. They can't pull you into emotional games. They can't control your mood. You've become untouchable, not because the world has changed, but because your mind has. Think about the most powerful people you've ever seen. They don't move with panic, they move with presence. They don't shout for attention, their calm commands it. When a powerful person walks into a room, they don't need to speak loudly to be noticed. Their energy speaks before they do. That's what peace does. It amplifies your presence without you having to prove it. You become like still water, quiet on the surface but deep beneath. People sense your strength without you ever saying a word. In your relationships, you'll notice that the more mature you become, the less you argue. You stop trying to win every conversation. You stop reacting to every misunderstanding. You begin to see that most people argue not to find truth, but to feed ego. Maturity teaches you that peace is worth more than being right. You can be right and still lose your peace, and that's too expensive a price to pay. So instead of fighting to be understood, you choose to understand. Instead of matching their energy, you maintain yours. Because you know that whoever controls your peace controls your power. Imagine someone shouting at you, trying to get under your skin, expecting you to explode, and you just stand there calm, collected, unbothered. That silence will frustrate them more than your reaction ever could. Because your peace exposes their instability. Your composure reminds them of what they lack. That's why peaceful people are powerful, because they make others question themselves without saying a word. There will be times when your peace will be tested by the people closest to you. The same people you helped will disappoint you. The same ones you trusted will betray you. But maturity means understanding that you don't have to fight every betrayal. You don't have to defend yourself in every conversation. Time will always reveal the truth, and peace will always protect your reputation better than panic ever could. You start to realize that you don't lose people when you stop reacting. You just reveal who was never truly for you. You'll also notice how peace changes the way you make decisions. When you're reactive, you choose out of fear. When you're calm, you choose out of wisdom. A peaceful mind can see what an emotional mind can't. When you're calm, you can discern motives, you can sense direction, and you can feel timing. That's why maturity begins when you stop letting your emotions lead your life. You feel the emotion, but you don't follow it. You acknowledge the pain, but you don't let it define your next step. You have to reach a place in your journey where you say, I'm done explaining myself to people who only want to misunderstand me. I'm done reacting to drama that doesn't deserve my attention. I'm done fighting for peace with people who thrive in chaos. That's when power truly begins to flow through you. Because peace is not passive. It's a posture of control. It's saying, I refuse to let the noise around me create noise within me. Look at how storms behave in nature. The surface of the ocean may rage, waves may crash, winds may roar, but deep beneath, the water remains still. That's you when you've mastered peace. Life can storm around you, but inside you remains calm. You no longer seek revenge, you seek understanding. You no longer seek attention, you seek alignment. You no longer seek to be seen, you seek to be stable. There's a quiet authority that comes with maturity. You no longer need to raise your voice to make an impact. Your consistency becomes your statement. Your peace becomes your presence. The world starts to respect you not because you dominate others, but because you dominate yourself. And when you reach that level of discipline, you no longer chase validation, you attract respect. Because power is not in how loud you speak, but in how deeply you move without making noise. That's why peace is not the absence of conflict, it's the mastery of response. Anyone can react, but not everyone can remain calm. Anyone can talk, but not everyone can listen. Anyone can fight, but not everyone can understand. It takes strength to stay gentle in a world that celebrates aggression. It takes confidence to stay quiet when your ego is screaming for attention. It takes wisdom to choose peace when pride wants to prove a point. That's what maturity looks like. Being unshaken, unmoved, and unbothered no matter what life throws at you. There comes a point where you stop chasing peace and start becoming peace itself. You stop waiting for life to calm down, and you learn to calm yourself within the storm. That's the true definition of power. It's not in control over others, it's in control over yourself. The world doesn't need louder voices. It needs calmer souls. It needs people who can walk through chaos and still smile, who can be surrounded by conflict and still stand tall, who can be hurt deeply and still choose not to bleed on others. That's the kind of power that changes atmospheres. You must understand, reacting is easy. Anyone can react. Anyone can curse, shout, post, argue, and fight back. But it takes divine discipline to hold your peace when everything in you wants to explode. You know what real maturity looks like. It's when someone disrespects you, and you look at them and say within yourself, you don't even qualify for my reaction, because your peace is too expensive to be wasted on cheap provocation. Some people want to see you angry, because that's the only time they feel powerful. Don't give them that satisfaction. Keep your calm. Protect your dignity. Stay in your lane of peace and watch how power gravitates toward you. People may think you're weak because you don't fight back, but silence is the loudest answer to foolishness. Your silence says, I am not lowering my standards to match your chaos. You start to understand that peace doesn't mean you don't feel anger. It means anger no longer controls your decisions. You can feel it, but you won't let it steer the wheel. You can see the storm, but you won't let it enter your heart. That's emotional mastery, and that's what separates leaders from followers. Never forget this: you are not responsible for how others act. You're responsible for how you react. Every time you respond in peace, you win twice, once over the situation and once over yourself. The moment you master your emotions, you master your life. When they insult you and you smile. When they lie about you and you still move forward. When they betray you and you still rise higher. That's when life itself bows to your strength. There's a saying that goes, a calm sea never made a skilled sailor. The same is true for life. You can't grow in peace without being tested by chaos. The storm isn't there to destroy you. It's there to train you. Every person who tries to test you is secretly helping you build the muscle of self-control. Every trial is teaching you how to stay calm under pressure, because greatness is not found in what you do when life is easy. It's revealed in how you respond when life is unfair. You have to get to a place where peace becomes your power stance, where you walk into rooms and people feel your calm, where your stillness speaks louder than their noise, where you stop chasing arguments, stop explaining yourself, and start moving with quiet confidence. That's when peace turns into presence. Because when you are centered, you become unstoppable. You no longer react. You respond. You no longer rush. You discern. You no longer fight for attention. You attract it through your composure. When life pushes you, don't push back. Stand still. Because sometimes the greatest strength is not in fighting the storm, but in standing through it. Every time you hold your peace, you tell life, you can shake my circumstances, but you can't shake my spirit. That's power. That's strength. That's greatness. Remember this forever: peace is your power, calm is your weapon, and control is your crown. You don't need to raise your voice when your presence already speaks volumes. You don't need to explain yourself when your results will do it for you. You don't need to fight for attention when your discipline commands respect. Let them talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them assume. Because while they're distracted by noise, you're building your destiny in silence. So, when the next test comes, and it will, don't react, smile. Breathe. Stay centered. Because the same people who tried to disturb your peace will soon wonder why their chaos doesn't move you anymore. And that's when they'll realize you didn't just find peace, you became it. You are unshaken, unstoppable, unbothered. Because you finally discovered that the greatest victory in life is not conquering others. It's conquering yourself.